Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So excited to be joined today live by Yatri. So on the podcast and on a Zoomcast, you get to see your beautiful face as a spiritual healer, a certified spiritual healer, I should point out. Also, cosmotherapist, artist, astrologer, you name it. She's an empath. Let me have her introduce herself. Hello, how are you?
Hi. Hi, Jill. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today. Just tapping in from Sedona.
Beautiful. Looks like the weather is gorgeous there. Oh my goodness.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. Now wait, are you just visiting there or do you live in Sedona now?
I don't, well, so I'm seasonal, so I'll do like 3 months in one place and 3 months in another. And right now it is definitely the season to be in Sedona. So the type of work that I do, doing retreats and whatnot, I'll probably be here for the next season, I would say, for the fall, and then wintertime go to Tulum area to Mexico, and then back to the Redwoods where I'm originally from.
Beautiful. And for those new time viewers today, just tell us a little bit about all the work you do, and we'll get into a great conversation as we always do.
As we always do. I would love to. Yeah, so I am a psychic reader, and I do tantra, I do astrology, I do tarot readings and ancestral readings, spirit guide readings, and I do yoga retreats. So I am also an artist, and I make what I do when I make art is I work with crystals, and I work with sterling silver and different precious metals or semi-precious metals to make wearable crystal grids so that you can have something that really truly can work for you. And this is something that has been happening. We've been using this for centuries. Crystal players are attracted to crystals and metals to help us to ground and help us to channel energy. Certain.
Beautiful. And how do we contact you? Tell us the website and social media pages, any way we can find you.
100. Yeah. So yatrisoul.com is my website. That's www.yatri, Y-A-T-R-I, soul, S-O-L.com.
Perfect. And what did you have in mind for everyone today? What's on the agenda list?
Definitely want to tap in. It's been a second. I want to tap into astrology. We've got this big full moon coming up again. And one of the things that's really nice is that we're coming forward out of a big retrograde, just like massive retrograde. There's a lot of planetary elements that were retrograding, and that was pretty intense for most of us. How was it for you, Jill?
Well, it's funny. I don't know. I don't know. Again, you're the one that's connected. I'm sitting here and I know there's like a full moon. I know my dad's off. I know this one's off, that one. But how was it supposed to affect me? You got to help me think about this. What are some of the things that could have happened
Yeah,
specifically?
that's great. Thank you for that initiative. Let's talk about so when things go retrograde, which is what has been happening since for like the last few weeks, I would say the last month or 6 weeks, things have been really going retrograde almost all summer. We had Venus go retrograde, that's direct now. So when things go retrograde, it's a time for us to reflect, to reanalyze, to review. And then when things go direct, which is what's happening now, planets, it's all of that time that we were reanalyzing that there was kind of like this stall, energetic stall. Now it's time for us to go direct, but with like clarity of purpose, clarity of direction, clarity of our life, of all the things in our life, things that broke down, the things that broke down in our life. There was a reason for that, and that was to show us something so that we could initiate into, and what's happening collectively and individually, as I've been kind of trying to talk about, is
Yeah.
we're all being really asked to say yes to our true north, our true purpose, our true soul's mission. And this year is all about that. This year is all about laying the foundation. 2023 is all about laying the foundation for our true life, our true, not that it hasn't been true, but there's been a lot of initiation happening. And it's going to be for all of us to really step into that soul alignment, that true north, that true yes.
Oh my
So
gosh. Well, then it makes sense. Well, Yeah, out of a relationship for a few months now dealing with medical issues. So my Claire, but my what I'm seeing, I'm envisioning for my future is I'm on a better path, I think, to finding someone more compatible. But at the same time, I really don't care if I find someone compatible because I'm okay with me. And I think that's the past few months what I've come to realize about me in my life, that I've always been single, never had a husband. I have two kids, and I'm like, you always think you want that partner, that soulmate, but maybe sometimes it's just not meant to be. Maybe you just got to learn to love yourself and be okay. And I finally feel like I'm okay. And all these medical ailments are happening. So I'm just detoured. I'm like, the hernias. Then I have some like tendon deterioration. I need another surgery. And I'm like, I'm 45. I know I'm getting old. Now I got the osteopenia. My bones are weak. What's happening? I feel like there's a message higher above trying to tell me that my body's not doing well. And maybe that's why I need to be alone to focus on this and fix me first, whether mentally, physically, and emotionally. To That's just my feeling.
I think you're 100% right about psychosomatically. We have to identify what's going on
Mm-hmm.
with ourselves, and having that time to clarity to get clear on what we need is really good. Although I don't believe that any of us are really meant to be alone. And sometimes the psychosomatic illnesses that present themselves are actually from being alone. So that's something to consider too.
Interesting. Thank you. Wow. Wow. So worldwide, you're working and you're helping people. I mean, some people might want to just talk to you and they don't know what they need. How do you know what someone needs? They call because you do so much. And you, in that initial consultation that you offer, is that kind of how you find the solution?
Absolutely. Some people know that they want a reading and they won't know what type of reading, and so that's what the consultation's for. Everyone
And
is
she's good with readings. I know.
yeah, we did do some really sweet readings. So just kind of identifying what's going on, and that can just be through a conversation, and then from there we can schedule a reading. And all of this can be done over the phone, online, or this way through a Zoom session or in person if I happen to be in the area. And I try to post regularly where I'm going to be. Um, Also with retreats, usually what I'll offer is if you do come to one of the retreats that I'm offering, and I try to have at least 4 seasonally
Okay.
and around the world, then we can do readings in person there. And usually they're included or at a reduced price. But the best way is really just to give me a call. My phone number is on my website, but I'll list it here too. If you're listening, you want to write it down. It's 360-301-5356. And you can contact me directly. Just text me. I'm really good at responding to texts and calls. And then we can just schedule a little 15-minute conversation. Through that 15-minute conversation, I can kind of hear and identify what it is that maybe you want, need. And then from there, I think tarot sessions are always complimentary too. Generally I'll have my tarot there. And tarot is a really good way of pulling from the collective consciousness through just your name. I can even do that without seeing or talking to you. Just with your name, I can kind of see what's going on, which is kind of cool too. People are even just like, I'm not even going to play phone and have a conversation. So just texting me your name, and if you have a question, I can do a tarot reading and kind of see what's going on and then have some suggestions from there.
Beautiful. Amazing. Amazing that you can connect to so many like this. And this is a gift you discovered at what age did you discover that you had these talents?
Well, I would love to talk about that because one of the things I love to teach, and that's something that I haven't talked about, is this. So I was raised in a really spiritual, but more of like a religious household. And it was in that context. And I was never taught to listen to myself. And as we're taught to listen to another. We're taught to give our power away to the high, to the intermediate person. And I was definitely very dedicated to spirit, but I was never taught to really listen to myself or to trust myself. And so that came much later. I was in my late 20s when I really started developing my intuitive gifts. And we all have them. And it's something that I love to awaken in people and to help people to train into. I also train and certify people as tarot readers, and can help. They do courses on helping people develop their psychic gifts, because and that can be on on a one-on-one basis, because we all have it. We just have to attune to it. We have to learn to trust ourselves. And that's what the Tantra is, something that I want to talk about. Tantra is a regaining of power. And so some of the retreats coming up, it could be very misunderstood. The Tantra is all about that. It's all about like reclaiming your direct connection to yourself and to your God and your goddess within, so that you can even start to think about what it is that you are seeing and feeling as a direct connection to the divine, as within, so without.
Oh, and you mentioned Tantra, right? And the specific word Tantra, that what does that mean to some people out there?
Oh yeah. Well, so go ahead, Jill. What is
no the basics of Tantra. I think sexual aura. I think how to connect more on a sexual, but it's not just sexual. Could you share what Tantra really is?
I would love to.
Thank you.
So Tantra, Sanskrit, Tan, it really, what it really means is to weave, two parts, to weave. And it's the two different parts in Sanskrit of the weaver's tools. It means many things, but basically, when we get down to it, it means to weave. And what it means to weave is these two parts. And that's what non-duality comes from. I'm going to explain that. But there's always this black and white, a very linear perspective of there's good and there's bad, there's black and there's white, and Tantra weaves these ideas together. There's masculine and there's feminine. And so we weave, and that's where this idea that it's sexual comes in. Is it sexual? Everything is sexual. You are sexual. I am sexual. These plants behind me, these birds.
Yeah.
That's the nature, that's the true nature of everything. None of us would be born without that. So that's the undercurrent to everything. There is a liberation factor that comes with it. The principles of Tantra are, when we weave these two things together, this masculine, this feminine element of duality of like I am, or this good and bad, maybe doesn't exist, maybe does. We weave those things together, and then the principle is you have full freedom with full responsibility. And this is what the fundamental principles of Tantra's philosophy is: full freedom, full responsibility, once you realize that you are the god and the goddess of your own life.
Got it. Now, do you also do like couples tantric healings, and do you work with couples? Do you work individuals only, or how does that work?
Absolutely. No, one of my main I'm really excited to do is work with all people instead of segregating people off. It's like it's only women or it's only couples, or only single people. Absolutely not. All of the work that I do is for all people. So that means that men and women are invited, unless specifically, and single people and couples are all welcome. And as far as individual packages, working individually, that would be determined. Some people have asked me, happened a lot, where people couples have asked me for guidance, specific guidance, and that's to be determined based on the situation.
Got it. All right. And then what about you also, now maybe I'm using the wrong term here, as an energy healer, as a healer, you're also doing Reiki, or is Reiki really just energy healing? Or, we talked about chakras, right? And the fact that we could help people in that sense. So how do I, what do I call that?
This is so Reiki, Reiki and energy healing. All of this yoga, it's all fundamentally what we understand is how it all weaves together. Mm-hmm. So chakras being that there's these energy centers in our body, and understanding that we are the god or the goddess of our own life, and we can be this direct channel to the divine, which is what Reiki is what we're doing, is that we can heal ourselves, we can heal other people with their permission when necessary, until we can all learn how to heal ourselves. Sometimes we'll need that, even healers need that. So shamanic Reiki and shamanic and when we can use this in Tantra, when we can move energy. We're always constantly emanating things and moving energy around, but when we can do that consciously, we have the power to heal. We have the power to move things in a positive way.
Interesting. So we could shift and really mindset. So with this, we can really change into anything we want. We have to believe, but we sometimes we don't know how to do this ourselves. Hence, you step in and could guide someone, right? Could you share some of the people you're working with, some of the readings, some of the work that you've done, and how it can inspire some others, and they can maybe listen today or and say, "Oh, that resonates with me," or I empathize with that.
100%. I'd love to. So, the first part of the healing, it comes from within. So the as within, so without, and as without, so within. This is the thing. Sometimes when we identify that we have some sort of energetic block, or we can see it psychosomatically like a physical block. For example, somebody will have an issue with, I'm just going to use an example, addiction. An issue with addiction generally is psychosomatic of something that is the word crazy or something inside. We all can manifest addictive tendencies to something, one thing. And a lot of people will come to me with like, I'm feeling this, I have this, imbalance in my life, and it's showing up as addiction, whether it's to food or it's to a substance, or it's even to sex, or it's fear of intimacy. So there's like all of these different aversions. And what we can do is really look at what the psychosomatic reason for this really is. Everything is from within, without. So we look at what's happening outside, and then we look at what's happening inside. And that's through conversation. That could be through a reading. And then working on understanding what the fundamental principle, what are the fundamental reason inside it. Usually it's really actually really quite, it can be complex, but it comes back down to this. It's a seed issue, or maybe a couple seed issues. And when you can clear these seed issues with knowledge, with like consciousness, and then I can also do psychic clearings. They call it like psychic surgery. And so energetically clearing, and that's the shamanic part of Reiki. And then ways to help maintain that energetic clearing from a distance based on use of crystals, based on diet even, and based on new mental programming. This is kind of the package that we use is working with somebody to identify what the issue is, and then working with new ways to program ourselves to make good choices. So it's basically like spiritual coaching if people want to go from the reading beyond.
All right. From the reading beyond. I love it. And again, Yatri, so we're talking to, it's YATRISOL.com. That's her website. You can just Google her, find her, and she can advise you in so many different things. What else did you want to share for today? Live from Sedona, Arizona, she is.
Live from Sedona. Yeah. Well, really excited to announce a retreat that's happening. There's a Tantra retreat happening with a colleague of mine in Mexico that just got released and announced, and it's happening in February. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's happening at the end of January, the very last weekend in January. So if anyone's interested, it's in Mazunte. And this will be a really nice way to practice Tantra yoga every day, and to do some workshops in the afternoon. There'll be enough free time for you to explore the beauties of Oaxaca, Mexico. It's right on the beach. And then there will be from that retreat, that's the beginning, and it's going to start a series of retreats that are going to be going through Central America, Oaxaca,
Wow.
yeah, Guatemala, Lake Atitlan will be the next one. It'll also be 5 days, 5 bodies, and 5 different elements. Some people, so the first one will be based on Tantra. The second one will be based on Tantra as well, but we're going to use 5 microdoses of 5 different elements. Plant medicines and elements from nature to help us for those that are interested in doing that in a really safe container, to really free ourselves mentally, just really tap into what that would look like on a physical level. That's the one in Lake Atitlan, and reach out to me for more details. And then there will be some more in the other side of Mexico in Tulum in March for equinox. And then we're going to be doing a Tantra temple tour on the pyramids after Lake Atitlan in Tikal. So that's going to be really amazing to really start to download things and purify anything that's not in alignment once and kind of for all, because now it's going to be 2024. So 22, 24 is when we're going to be having that initial retreat in Lake Atitlan. And then after that, for equinox, beginning of March, we're going to be really, really with intention doing that tour. So yeah, reach out if there's any interest in any of that. And then by the end of March, we'll be in Tulum doing more Tantra in Tulum.
Awesome. Exciting. I've never been to Tulum. Tell me about Tulum. Is it?
Tulum. Yeah, Tulum is beautiful. It's the whole area. It's not necessarily Tulum in itself. Tulum is the center for like Sedona. It's a center for a lot of people to have to go to for familiarity purposes and safety in Mexico, in that part of Mexico. It's one of the most beautiful beaches, and it's very comfortable on a retreat level. And then from there, the outskirts of Tulum not only have beaches, but there's cenotes, which are these like really beautiful caves and pools that you can go explore. And there's beautiful beach towns, and it's right in the jungle. So it's like jungle meets the sea. It's one of my favorite places to be.
Beautiful. Sounds great. You got a lot on your plate. This is fascinating. And, when did you, I mean, I know you've had this gift, this talent. You started teaching and working with so many people. And then obviously, was it with the pandemic where you started this whole virtual world of helping others, or were you always working with others all around the world?
No, definitely the pandemic. It was very much like, I have very much been like, you have to find me, I'm the witch in the woods.
Yeah.
And that was working for a while, and that worked fine. But then it was only really serving the communities that I would live in, people that would know about me. And that's fine as, trying to be like old school medicine woman. But then as we start to get into this newer age, I had actually a shaman woman tell me, she said, after a deep medicine ceremony, she said, it's time for you we have to go forward in time. It's not, we have to go forward. We have to work with technology. We have to start working with everybody, a global society. And so this is something that is in development. There's a lot more. This is what this is all about for me, Jill. It's really to get myself out there and to say, here I am as a lighthouse, and whoever wants and whoever feels that calling to work with me is welcome to, and here to serve and here to celebrate life together.
Oh, beautifully said. Oh my goodness. All right. We still got 3 minutes left, Yatri. I don't want to cut you off, but clearly you love the work you do. You are just so, and I mean, everyone says they're an empath. People say, I really don't think so. I don't know, but you just got this aura about you, and getting to see you and talking to you and just listening to you. It's just, you've got great energy. Obviously, with what you do, you have to, but you have such a gift, and it's beautiful, and it resonates here through the airwaves. And I'm sure our listeners are saying the same thing. And to close off today with, the work you're doing, how did you want to leave off with everyone?
I just want to say, just reach out, don't be shy, and give me a text or give me a shout out on Instagram. My Instagram is Yatri Soul, YATRISOL. And if you're interested in going a little deeper, and you're like, hey, I think that I resonate with all of this, but a lot of us are already connected to and in alignment. We're walking in that alignment, because it's been something that we've been working on. There's going to be a Tantra Yoga teacher training. There's going to be basically a priestess training that's going to be happening. A priestess training is for men and women, and a little bit deeper stuff that's going on. So if you're interested in that, there's going to be an in-person training in Trinidad, and then there's going to be an online training as well. And that's going to be happening with Genevieve, who is another priestess that I'm going to be starting to work with, who I'd love to have on the show probably next week, so that we can talk about some of the other options. So if there's an interest for people that are already feeling like we're on the same level, we're on the same page, then there's places we can go from here too.
Beautiful. Well, thank you again. Remind us how we can contact you.
Yeah. So it's Yatri Soul, YATRISOL.com. And my phone number is 360-301-5356.
Beautiful. Thank you again for being here, for joining us, and enjoy. Oh my God, beautiful Sedona. I took my mom there. We called it her World Death Tour. It sounds crazy, but it does. 2017, it was the last year she was going to live. Well, was it? Yeah, World Death. Yeah, she passed away from lung cancer, so we knew she was sick. So one of the stops we made was Arizona, and we drove from Scottsdale up to Sedona to see the beautiful Red Rock Mountains. And oh my goodness, I still regret not going a little further to see the Grand Canyon, but it was just the most beautiful sight seeing those red rocks. I want to take my children there. There's something so spiritual about it, right? And so beautiful. So
grounding, and it's very much like their energy here, the red, earthy groundedness. And so, and we're going to be having some retreats here in Sedona. Genevieve is based out of Sedona too, my spiritual priestess sister. So we're going to be doing some fun stuff here as well. So I am so excited to guys. So just follow too. If you do go to my website, you can follow my newsletter, and that way you can know where all of the next things are happening.
Where she is. All right. She's like, where's Waldo? Where's Yatri? She's in Sedona today. Have a great day, sweetheart. Great seeing you. Thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.